Hey y'all, my name is Miss Meadows and today I'm going to help you with the region music. This video we're going to work on Etude number 2. This is the faster or more technical Etude. So again, Etude is a French word that means study, and so these are just studies, just little songs that help you get better at playing your instrument. So with a technical etude, a lot of times we do go, they're usually a little bit faster, maybe have more notes, more scale runs, things like that. So first, here is a video of me performing Etude number 2. I did it a little bit slower than the marked tempo just so you could hear everything really clearly and follow along, read along in your music as you're listening. Okay, so first we'll start with that. Okay, so now let's talk about how to practice this thing. I know that sounds really intimidating, especially that last line, right? There's a whole bunch of notes there. It's okay. Start slow, you'll get it, okay? So on technical etudes, I usually recommend that people start no faster than half tempo. So even hotshot all-state people in my high school, my high schoolers who go on to make all-state, I make them learn their technical etudes at half tempo. So we're going to start at half tempo. Actually, we're going to go even a little bit underneath that. We're going to start at 40. Okay, so I'm going to put my metronome on 40. And the first thing we want to do, let's make sure we know what key we're in. So you can see we start in on F and there's one flat in the key signature. So that's the key of F major. We're in the key of F major, so it would be a good idea to practice your F major scale before you try to play this etude. Now look at measure 3, measure 7, and measure 15. When you first look at those measures, they look really hard and scary, but if you really look at them, you'll see it's just an F scale. So if you know your F major scale, those 3 measures actually will probably be some of the easiest measures in this piece for you. So practice your scales. Practice your F major scale before you practice this etude. Okay. Now at the very beginning, you see that it says sempre staccato. So sempre means always. Staccato means detached. It's a style marking. So it indicates that the notes should be spaced. So we're going to play the notes shorter than their written value so that they don't touch. Obviously, the exceptions to that would be the notes that are slurred. Those notes are going to touch because they're marked with a slur. So you'll hear that in the performance. You heard that the other notes, the tongued notes, didn't touch. They were detached, okay? And let's go ahead and talk about the rhythm. I think it's really important that you learn the rhythm and the fingerings before you try to play this etude. So we're going to start with just the first 2 measures, measure 1 and measure 2. And we're just going to talk about the rhythm first. Now, we have an 8th note and 2 16th notes. If you remember 16th notes, we typically count, if there's 4 of them, we count them 1, E, and right? So here what we have is an 8th note on beat 1, and then we have 2 16th notes. So the 8th note on beat 1 lasts for half a beat. So that means that the 16th notes are going to start on the and of 1. So the way I'm going to count that rhythm is 1 and a, 1 and a. So if I turn my metronome on, where you can hear the subdivision, down, up, right, with the foot tap, then that's going to be 1 and a for that first rhythm, okay? 1 and a. And you can see that that rhythm comes back like a whole bunch of times in this etude, right? It's really important that you be crisp and clear with those rhythms, so make sure you understand that rhythm. So measure 1 and measure 2 together, the rhythm sounds like this. 1, and 2 and 1 and 2. And that last note in measure 2 is an eighth note, right? So it only gets half a beat. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Okay, and then you're going to, eventually you can go ahead and try fingering along with that when you're ready, but you can start with just the rhythm and then add the fingerings when you're ready. Because this is F major, the fingerings might be a little bit easier for you on this etude than on the previous one. And just remember, start slow. You don't have to go fast. You shouldn't be trying to go anywhere close to 88 anytime soon, really. Let me count the first 4 measures for you. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and sing it on pitch while I'm counting, because as horn players, I think it's really important for us to always be thinking about pitch. So here's the first 4 measures. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Notice how I also did the style with my voice. It's okay if that's hard for you, if you have trouble doing that. I just think that really helps me a whole lot to be able to get in my head how I'm going to play those notes, where they're connected and where they're detached. Now, we know on this etude the hardest part is definitely the last line from 23 to 26, right? You can see that and you can hear that when you hear it played. So what you want to do is you want to really break this down and start really, really slow and just try a few notes at a time. So once you get to where you can finger it, again, start with fingerings first. Once you finger it, then I want you to just play like the first 5 notes with the metronome. So you're going to go. And you're going to do that several times and make sure you have those first 5 notes down. Then you can add a little bit onto that. Make sure you're tonguing in the right places too. And then once you can do that, then you can add a couple more notes and go to the F in measure 24. Right? And then you could get really good at that. Then you could start right on measure 24 and practice that part. And practice just measure 24 to the first note of 25. Okay, and then 25, you could practice that one separately too, maybe starting on the second note. So you see how I did that? So you want to break that down. Break it down as much as you need to make sure that you're getting the notes and the rhythms and the articulation right, that you're hearing the pitches clearly in your head. Start super, super slow, and don't worry about trying to go any faster than 40 for at least a few weeks. Just really focus on getting your notes and your rhythms and your articulations, okay? So happy practicing.